What's up, y'all? Today I want to talk about being habitual. Now, those of you who listen to Justin Bieber's recent album, yes, I've listened to Justin Bieber's recent album. I was never a believer in his music, but when I heard his new album, Changes, I got a taste of what it is to be a believer. I ain't gonna lie, this music is decent music. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of the tracks on that album be hitting me in different ways. So I ain't gonna lie. I got some favorites. Probably favorites of the year. Let's see how the rest of this year goes. But I want to talk to you about Habitual. And every time I listen to Habitual, I think about how responsible we have to be for loving ourselves. You see, it's important that we love ourselves and that we're responsible for the love for ourselves. Let me give you an example. Let's use a relationship, for instance. Okay, so let's talk about toxic relationships. A lot of toxic and unhealthy relationships are a bond between two individuals who are usually unhealthy or usually don't know what it is to love themselves. So in a relationship, these two individuals, they believe that when you get into a relationship with another person, that you're supposed to lose your identity, lose yourself, and focus all on the relationship, focus all on investing in a relationship and nurturing the relationship and giving their all into this relationship to the point where they lose sight of everything else around them. They lose sight of their friends, they lose sight of their family, they lose sight of their work, their extracurricular activities that they like to do, their hobbies, the things that their identity is also attached to. They lose sight of those things. And so now you have two individuals who are so caught up in the relationship where that becomes their identity. The relationship becomes their identity. But that's unhealthy. It's truly unhealthy to think that, and this is just my opinion, you guys don't have to agree with me, obviously not, but I'm talking from experience, and I'm talking from the different concepts and ideas that I've been learning about relationships throughout my years. And I've been in a few relationships where I can say I've experienced a lot of toxicity caused by myself. And I want to admit and take responsibility for my downfall in every single relationship, because in every single relationship that obviously did not work out, I lost myself. I lost my sense of who I was. I lost my identity. I lost the desires that I had for my life. I lost what I like to do. You know, what I like to eat, what I like to spend time doing and spend time with. You know, who I like to spend time with. So I lost that in every relationship that did not work out. And so I can say that I have a lot of lessons learned that I'd just like to share. So that's where I'm speaking from, personal experience. I know a lot of you probably looked at the video and said, well, who are you to talk about what a relationship is and what love is and how love should look and how it should be? Well, let me tell you that I'm teaching you from my failures. What didn't I? Because I was doing things that don't work out. So I could teach you on things that don't work out. And because I've learned from what doesn't work out, I now understand what could work out. And so I'm telling you that it's important to be responsible with loving yourself in any relationship, any friendship, in any career that you're involved in, any hobbies that you're involved in, with whatever it may be. It's important to be responsible for loving yourself. Now, what does that look like? Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say in that relationship structure with those two individuals, let's say one individual, and we're not gonna specify any genders here for the sake of being politically correct. Let's just say the first individual is an actor, and that individual enjoys acting, and they enjoy the creative arts. They enjoy going to the museum. They enjoy going to watch films. They enjoy sitting around and speaking with their film industry interested friends and talking about the latest movies and the latest shows, and they enjoy going to film festivals and with their friends, and they enjoy all of they enjoy studying different actors and different film directors and producers. So their life, who they are, their identity, and what they enjoy doing is all consumed by this film industry. And so their identity is easily found in that film industry. Okay, so now we're done with that individual, because that's just a taste of that individual, and that's just a taste of their identity, right? Now let's talk about the other individual who's in this relationship. What they like to do. They're involved with community. They're involved with family. They love their family. They have strong connections with their family. They have strong connections with their siblings, their mom and their dad, and they enjoy having events within their family. They enjoy going out with their family. They enjoy eating with their family. They enjoy staying at home with their family and having family nights and taco nights and cooking for their family. They enjoy going on different road trips with their family, different adventures with their family. So their life consists around family, community, and they're more people oriented because they like to mentor younger kids than themselves and play sports with younger kids with themselves, and get together and teach the kids in the neighborhood, and they even work with kids in a community center, and they're very involved with this idea of people and loving people and becoming their best selves for other people. So their identity is easily found in their community work, their love for their family, their love for self-development and mentorship. Each individual in the relationship are amazing people. They have their own taste in things, their own desires, their own wants, and they clearly have identified where they need to be, what they need to be doing, and who they are, because of their external interest. Obviously, our external interests do not define us as people. It's our internal interests that do. So these people, surely they have a sense of who they are internally. Surely they have a sense of what they like and don't like internally. Right. So here's the thing. These two individuals who are secure in what they're doing need to understand that just because they get into a relationship doesn't mean that they let go of that security. It doesn't mean that they give up all of the things that are for them. They don't give up who they are just because they're in a relationship now. No, actually, being in a relationship just enhances who that person is. That's what it should do. So we're going to talk about what it is to be in a healthy relationship. To be in the relationship should enhance who you are as a person. All it should do is be an additive to your life. This isn't a necessity. They don't need to be together because they're secure, separate from each other. Right? They're both in their respective fields. They're both secure in who they are and what they're doing, what they like, what they don't like. And so they need to protect that. They need to take responsibility for that. Right? So this relationship isn't taking away from the individual. It's just an additive to the individual. So, for instance, for those of you who like ketchup and mustard and relish and grilled onions and grilled mushrooms and grilled peppers and all of these additives. But let's talk about the condiments. The condiments on a hot dog. Do you need those condiments? No, you don't need those condiments. You don't need the ketchup. You don't need the mustard. And I should know because I hate condiments. I hate all those extra stuff. I'm sorry, just to put that out there. I don't like ketchup. I don't like mustard. I know some of you are probably like, what? How could you not like ketchup? I eat ketchup with everything. There's people that eat ketchup with rice, with eggs. They eat ketchup with the beans. They eat ketchup with hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken, mashed potatoes. They eat ketchup with literally everything. Some people just eat ketchup. It's crazy. You know what it is? When I was younger, my sister had told me, because she noticed that I don't like ketchup now, she told me when I was younger, there would be times where I would destroy ketchup. I would eat ketchup out of the package, and I would eat 10 to 15 packets of ketchup. She told me this, and I had no recollection of this at all, because I know now I hate ketchup so much that I probably thought that I'd never tasted ketchup in my life. That's how much I hate ketchup. I don't think I've ever tasted ketchup in my life. I see it, I smell it, but I never taste it. But she told me that I did when I was younger, and I was a really young baby at that. And I used to eat 10 to 15 packets of ketchup. And so that just has me thinking why I probably don't like it now is because I probably ate too much of it as a kid. I ate so much that I just got sick of it. But anyways, I'm fine without ketchup now, right? I'm living healthily without ketchup right now because I don't need it. I can eat a hot dog without ketchup and enjoy the hot dog. I taste every juice and bit inside the hot dog and on the bread. Same thing with the hamburger. I don't need ketchup on my hamburger because I got the taste from the juicy meat. Or if I have cheese on it, I have the taste from the cheese. But I don't need ketchup, right? I don't need ketchup to enjoy this burger. So that's what I'm saying. We don't need the additives. Just like condiments, we don't need these additives in order to enjoy life, in order to live life, in order to be our best selves. We don't need a relationship. We don't need that other person. We may believe so because we're so caught up in love and we're so caught up in the romance of it. And we're so caught up and we believe that this person truly makes us happy. We believe that this person gives us peace. And that's because when we go to this person, right? We go to this person and we feel all these emotions, this joy, this peace, this love. And so we can't help but think this other person is causing these things, right? But no, in fact, they're not. It's you. It's you in your mind. It's yourself that's causing this joy, this love, and this peace. And so if we don't recognize that, if we're not careful with that, then we start to put our emotions in this person, our feelings in this person. And we're depending on them to make us feel a certain way. And that's when you get an unhealthy relationship, because you're depending on the other person to make you feel better. And especially in moments where life is just beating you down, you go to this relationship and you want this relationship to make you feel better. Because now you say, hey, I've put everything inside this relationship. I've put my identity in this relationship. So I expect this relationship to make me feel better. Whether in that moment when you're anxious, you need peace, you go to the relationship and you say, give me peace. And you say to the other person, give me peace. You're not saying it out loud, but you're subconsciously saying it. You call them in the moment when you're anxious. And you're just subconsciously waiting. You may be talking about other things. You're like, oh, how was your day? But you're subconsciously waiting. You're waiting for that person, that relationship to give you peace. When it won't come. It won't come from that person. You won't get it from that person. So it's you, it's yourself that's giving you these emotions. And if you don't realize it, you'll be out of luck. That's all that it is. You'll be out of luck and you'll never feel satisfied. You'll never feel like relationships are a good thing, because you'll be depending on something that's not correct. That's just totally wrong. It shouldn't be that way. You should be able to be in a relationship, yes, understand that when you're angry or when you're sad or when you're mad, the only person that can change that emotion, the only person that can change your life situation, for example, is yourself. You're the only person who could think in your mind, I want to be happy right now, and I'm going to take responsibility for my feelings. I'm going to take responsibility for loving myself, so that I'm not going to the other person to ask them to love me subconsciously, because we would never admit it. Hey, I'm really mad right now, and I believe that you're the only thing that can make me feel happier. We would never tell our spouse that. We would never tell our girlfriend that, because that makes us feel like small. So instead, we pretend like we don't want that, but we're actually going to the relationship. We're actually going to the other person for that exact same thing, instead of just looking for it right here. It's right here. That peace is right here. That joy is right here. The love, it hasn't gone anywhere. You've just been caught up in a negative way of thinking, so change it. Yeah, it might be hard. If this is your first time attempting to do it, if you've never done that before, of course it's going to be hard. It might even seem impossible. But you know what helped me? Believing that is possible. I'm a Christian young man. I believe that the Lord God, my savior, my defender, my protector, my refuge is the person that's given me the strength to do impossible things. He's the one that does the impossible. And I just take responsibility for that. I participate in that. And so, yeah, I knew it would be hard to just change my negative thoughts and to just change my negative situation. I don't have a job, or I don't have a car, or my bike got stolen. Yeah, those are negative things, but they don't have to stay that way. We don't have to just sit around and stay as if we're stuck, right? We can do something about this. We can take responsibility. But you see, I was talking to the lady that counsels me about this, about taking responsibility for our actions. That's something that not too many people want to do. People are so lazy, so insecure, and just have a lack of confidence in themselves that they won't do anything until someone else tells them to do something. So they're literally at people's feet waiting for advice to live their lives, waiting for the green light. They're going to people telling them how, life's been crazy, and they're telling them how they don't have a job, and so they go to the other person and ask them for advice, like, what should I do? Where should I apply? What should I be doing? Instead of asking themselves, what should I do? Where should I apply to work? And what do I like to do? What's going to make me happy? They're going to other people because they feel like, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want the responsibility of making a decision to be all on me. You know how much pressure that is? That's a lot of pressure, believe me. To make a bold action, like, where do I want to work? Like, what job do I apply to? That is a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility for us. And some of us don't want to take up that responsibility. They'd rather someone else tell them how to live their lives. And so you have a generation of lazy people. Who are just looking to other things, other people, to take on responsibility for themselves and their actions and what they do and how they run their life. And it's really sad. So this is something that I'm going to be venturing into for the next 5 to 7 weeks. I'm going to be intentionally thinking about, because a habit is formed within 3 weeks, right? 21 days, you build a habit. So in 21 days, I'm expected to build a habit of being intentional about just being responsible for my love. What is that going to look like? I'm an actor, and I'm so interested in acting. This is my life now. I'm telling you guys my life now, not an example. So I'm really interested in acting, and the reason why I'm interested in it is because when I was younger, I did acting because it helped me come out of myself. It brought out my personality. It brought out my expression as a person. And so I always learn about who I am, my emotions as well, through acting. Because it continually stretches you to act a certain way, to contain a certain emotion within yourself. And it's training you to have a new emotion that you've never had before. Or sometimes you're in a role where You know what it is to be sad, so you play that role damn well. So that's why I like acting. Now, I also like mentoring youth. There's another side of me. Mentoring youth now is great for me because I like to inspire other individuals and youth at that, because they're the best group of people to reach and to touch and to reach. When I say reach and when I say touch, I mean like speaking into their lives when it comes to them growing into full individuals. I mean, being able to teach them with your experience, being able to explain different concepts in life. For instance, the other day, after a church service, I usually go and like eat a meal. I usually go to a Wendy's or something, and I'll go in and eat some lunch. Now I usually go with another brother in the church, and he's actually a little bit older. He's 26, so I'm 23. And so we go to Wendy's, and one of the youth, a part of our church group, one of the youth, he's interested in going to Wendy's with us. So we take him to Wendy's. He's 13 years old. We take him to Wendy's, and we get to Wendy's, and we sit down and eat and everything. And he asks me, the 13-year-old, he asks me, "Hey, what happened to you and your ex?" And so now I'm like, "What do you mean what happened to us? We're not together." And he's like, "Yeah, but how didn't it work out? You seem like such a great person." And I mean, I was like humbled at that and thankful, and I told him like, "Wow, I appreciate that." And I told him that sometimes it's not about like how great you are as a person, but sometimes it's just that the relationship doesn't work out for many reasons. I told him for my reason is because I lost myself in my relationship. I never took responsibility for who I was outside of the relationship. So he was like, he was very interested. This is a 13-year-old boy, and I'm 23, and I'm not gonna lie, this moment got me excited, because I'm like, I obviously see that he looks up to me. For him to make a comment and say how great I was, and he even like gave me a list of like all the things that he sees me doing. I'm like, wow, like, gosh, thank you. But this moment was exciting because it's a moment of realization that like whoever you are, someone's always like observing you, and that person is either inspired or judging or however they're looking at you, they're always looking at you. In this case, this person was inspired. So that's what that taught me, that I'm inspiring individuals every single day with my actions and what I'm doing and how I'm moving, like what so, and I like that. I like to inspire others, and I take that responsibility. So I finished off telling him that, which was true to my heart and true to what I'm doing now, is I'm becoming more responsible with loving myself, because it's what we have to do if we want to see growth in ourselves, right? If I spend my time trying to get back into that relationship, if I spend all my time trying to reach out to my ex and plead my case and beg and try and convince my ex that this needs to work, if that's where all my time goes and all my thoughts go, then I'm not learning from the lesson before. I'm just going right back into my comfortable ways. And those comfortable ways are toxic. Those are the same ways that caused the breakup, that caused the toxic relationship. Because all my thoughts and emotions were consumed by this relationship and by the idea of the relationship. So it's important that I don't just keep my thoughts there, because of course I want to know what's a friendship going to look like with my ex, because I'm still interested in a friendship. And I believe that person deserves a spot in my life. And I believe that person believes the same thing as well, from the recent conversations I've had with my ex. So, yeah, but all my thoughts and my emotions aren't just subject to that situation, because there's so much more things going on in my life. And if you feel like, well, Barris, there's not a lot going on in my life except for the last toxic friendship that I had, and so all my thoughts, my worries, and my sadness and everything revolves around that situation, what do, Barris? I can't think about anything else because there's nothing else to think about in my life. Well, then you have to create other things in your life. Go join a basketball league where you could just play basketball. You can learn about the game. If you don't know how to play basketball, then you learn about the game of basketball. Go get a hobby. Go swim. You don't know how to swim, go learn how to swim. Do something. Put your mind on other things that are beneficial to you as a person. Go to volunteer at a soup kitchen. Go see what it's like to work at a soup kitchen, volunteer there, have homeless people, have all types of people who are impoverished come to you and look to you to feed them soup. Go talk to an old friend. Go talk to an old mentor or teacher. Go to church. Go to a certification class. Go to a yoga class. Go to a dancing class. Do something that can expand your mindset, where you can think about other things rather than just thinking about solely this toxic situation. So, and then when you start to dip your toes into other things, you realize hey, I like doing these things. This is cool. Right? Now that's for the person that believes that, they don't know what else to think about other than their negative emotions. Now for the people who have a good sense of what they like to do, what I'm trying to tell you, for me it's acting, mentoring youth, and another one I'm about to explain, then keep your focus on those things and figure out how you're gonna grow in these things, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to grow in these things as well, these parts of our lives. And that's how you're gonna love yourself. When your thoughts are going into these things that you like to do, you're learning to love yourself. When you start to not just do things, but when you start to have a personal development, where you're going to seminaries on how to grow emotionally, or you're watching YouTube videos about growing emotionally, how to take control of your emotions, how to grow spiritually, watching YouTube videos about how to love yourself more, or watching videos about how to grow in friendships or relationships. When you start to feed yourself, or maybe you're reading books And books are helping you love yourself. Those are ways of how to love yourself in a healthy way. Because of course you could go get yourself some ice cream, right? But that's just like an additive, right? You don't need ice cream, and too much of it, it's gonna make you sick. You're gonna have health problems if you eat too much of ice cream, right? So the point of what I'm trying to make is that too much of something is not good, right? So we're complex and versatile creatures. So feed your other sides that are important to you. Now, the last thing that I said that I was going to explain what I like doing. I like brotherhood. I like fellowshipping with brothers. For those of you who don't know what fellowship is a sharing experience. So when I say I like fellowshipping with brothers, that means that I like talking to other brothers, other guys, men that I look up to, men that are doing a certain thing in their lives well. And so I want to do that as well. Or maybe I'm not just talking to them and being vulnerable with them and asking them for advice. Maybe I'm going out with them. Maybe I'm going to the movies with them. Or maybe I'm going to Dave & Buster's with them. I'm going to do like a leisurely activity with them. You know, one of the things that I do in my life now is I'm involved with a basketball league. It's a men's basketball league that I'm involved with. And so I'm around these guys Mondays and Wednesdays playing basketball together, learning about it's a team sport. And so we're in that team sport, you're forced to work together. You're forced to be a team player. And that's personally teaching me to play my role in life. So it's not just something I'm doing because I'm just playing basketball. No, it's personally teaching me to play my role, yes, in basketball. In basketball, I may be good at defense and driving the ball in for layups. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to work on my strengths. I'm going to play good defense and I'm going to drive the ball in for layups because it's for the betterment of the team. That's what's going to help the team win. And so when I look at life and I look at my strengths and I look at the teams I'm involved with, for instance, the church that I go to, and I see it as a team, and I say, where's my strength? Okay, my strength is mentoring youth. So what am I going to do? I'm going to mentor youth so that this team could win, have a better chance at winning, because I'm offering up what I do best, my strengths. So that's one thing, and you know what I like. Give me a second, just to wrap it up, because I know we're going past. We're almost at 40 minutes, but just to wrap it up, this isn't something that's selfish. If you really think about it, when you learn to be responsible with loving yourself, within a relationship, let's use the same example, within a relationship with another person, when you learn to be responsible with loving yourself, then you know how to better love another individual. You see, because if you don't know what it is to love yourself, then how could you know what it is to love another individual? Right? You won't know what it is to have passion for the other individual. You won't know what it is to set out a certain time for another individual. You won't know what it is to be understanding towards the other individual, because you don't possess that in your own life. You don't possess understanding, setting out time for yourself. You don't possess understanding when you fail, when you mess up on things, because you've never focused on what it is to try and understand your faults. So you're always critical with yourself. You're always beating yourself down. And so obviously you get into a relationship, and when they do something wrong and they hurt you, then you're critical against them. You're beating them down. Maybe the other individual in a relationship hasn't been looking for a job in the past 5 months because they're sad because their best friend passed away not too long ago. God forbid. And so now you're looking at this person without any understanding, and you're like, why are you being lazy? Why are you not doing anything? No, it's not that. It's just that they're going through a depressive time in their life, and they don't need someone to criticize them, especially not their significant other or their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend, or their other person. They don't need you to be critical in this moment. They need you to understand. But obviously, if you can't even understand when you mess up in your life, then how are you going to be able to understand this person, right? You don't know what that looks like. So that's why we have to love ourselves first. It starts with us. It starts with how we look at ourselves, the image that we have for ourselves. Is it a negative one or a bad one? If it's a bad one, then just expect when you get into a relationship, you're going to look at yourself bad, yes, but you're also going to look at the other person badly, because that's just the way you've gone about doing things lately. That's the habits that you've created. So that's what I'm saying. Create a habit of being responsible for loving yourself. And that's going to be the better. It's not a selfish thing. It's not at all. If you think about it, truly think. Is it selfish for me to know what it is to love myself, to be able to love the other person? And when you think of it that way, it's not. It's truly the most selfless thing that you could do, because you care about the other person, right? You care about your friends. You care about your family, right? So you're going to have to learn what it is to love yourself, to be able to love another person. And if you don't know what it is to love yourself, if you don't know what you're interested in and what you like doing, then that's something that you're going to have to figure out. You're going to have to take some time, figure it out, be intentional about it. Take some time, whether you have to sit down at home and read books, watch all these self-help videos, self-love videos, read the Bible. It's the place where you can surely find yourself within a month. I'm sure if you read the Bible, you will find who you are within a month. I guarantee it. Because that's what the Bible does. It's one of those books that you look into and you find yourself. So that's what I'm saying. Find yourself. Be responsible for loving yourself. And that's the challenge that I'm giving everyone. For the next 5 to 7 weeks, I'm going to be doing that as well. I'm going to be posting other videos, but I'm going to be doing that as well. And if you guys want to do that with me, go ahead, make a comment right now, like the video, subscribe, and we're going to do this together. We're going to know what it is by the end of the 5 to 7 weeks, what it is to be responsible with loving yourself for the better of humanity. Listen, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time for watching this, and I will see you next week. God's peace.